There we go. Now we're recording.
Ready?
Do it that way. Yeah.
Okay, so can you just go ahead and repeat everything that you just said?
Okay, so yeah, the masculine, the masculine side of our energies at the moment is standing up and making itself accountable for some of the darker energies that are out in the collective, that sort of underbelly of corruption and the things that are underneath the society that's a bit shady, that's been that way for quite a long time, that everybody's aware of, that's just let slide for a long time. And as the masculines are moving into the divine nature, they're almost wanting to stand up against these injustices to bring balance to the collective, really. And, so there's not select people who are earning all the money and then certain people who are just always kept in a lack mentality, how society is set up. So it's sort of a bit of an inner battle of how the masculine wants to, or is going to move forward with this. Is he going to just come and face it all in himself and accept that in itself, that they've let this go, they've known this was there, but they've not dealt with it? This is when we're talking through a lot of lifetimes, not just this lifetime. So for a long time, there's been this almost corruption behind the scenes.
So I asked you too if there was like guilt, if there was guilt or shame kind of energy connected to it too.
It's sort of, because you let it slide. It's almost the mentality, not almost like, what can I do? That's generally what can just I do, because we felt alone before. So we haven't had this, we felt alone against a system or something bigger than us. So it's some ingrained fear about standing up, and that's down to persecution in the past and things like that. So it's all, as we're releasing all these old energies, like I say, persecution, we're seeing things for what they are. It's whether we're gonna be battling against that system, or whether we just need to see it and let go of them old timelines and move past it, really. So it's a bit of not being sure about where we're going to go.
Masculine is used to being the protector and creating movement and leading the charge. And it almost sounds like it's just like stuck, not knowing which way to go. I don't know. I see.
For me, but a big part.
Seeing the underbelly, but what do I do about it? What do I do? Which way do I go? How do I?
Well, it's not ignoring it. That's the first start. So that's what they're saying. Either way, we're not ignoring it. It's what we've been doing in ourselves. It's that the programs we've been releasing in us personally is now being reflected on the collective. So personally, we've been dealing with subconscious programs that we've had inside us.
You personally?
Me personally, and the collective generally. Like I say, that the energies you're born into, the family dynamics and things like that, we've been breaking down these templates that we've been born into. But it's similar, same in society. So we were born into this template of this, how things are, the status quo. So that's all we know. So we just accept it and we don't question it. But that's changing now as obviously we evolve past our original template that we were born into. Obviously we're getting rid of them timelines. We're becoming more and more creators of our reality, and as such, we're wanting to create a better reality for everybody. And that's part of the unity consciousness. So we're wanting to expose those more underhand tactics used by big banking, big corporations and things like this to keep the little people small and like cash cows for them to stay rich and things like that. So it's an unbalance in society, which we want to bring about a much more balanced, and it's not about stuff. It's not about money. It's not about separating the people and drawing imaginary lines between countries. It's about everybody coming together and helping each other. Not the old way where we're against each other, battling each other and
Right. What it sounds like that energy, that divine masculine energy, is focused in on the imbalance in the structure now. How the structure has been. It looks like the Tower card, really. How it's and it's the one Tower card I got to show you on this box that I'm looking at right underneath of the computer right now. And it's the one on the outside of the box. This Tower card, where it's like, you see it?
Yeah.
Its legs are cut right out from underneath of it. And this house that was built up on these stilts, I mean, any kind of house that's built on stilts is not the most sturdy foundation anyway. But it's like something has come in. It almost looks like some kind of like planetary war. Like they came in and are like shooting lasers or something at it in order to knock.
That's what it reminds me of, like the tripods in War of the World. That's what that looks like on them.
Yeah.
Legs,
yeah. So like the masculine energy is focused in on those masculine elements, really: structure, foundation, institution, money. It's all out of whack right now, and it's all out of balance. And there's a lot of people that are sitting there waiting for everything to get back to normal, for those structures to right themselves again, so that everybody can come back to normal and lean back into the way things used to be, the normal again.
Yeah, because we live in a society basically that is programmed to keep us in debt. That is what we are born into. We are just kept in debt. We don't want to live that way, or the majority of people. There are ways out of it, but generally that's how we are being fed with the banking system. Is we are just a symbol, cash symbol, really, for them. We're kept in debt to keep in that lack, so we're always working backwards. So this is a real opportunity now for us to break out of that. So there's a lot of pressure on the financial system at the moment because of the lockdown and that sort of thing, and it's giving us a chance to reevaluate what we do, how we sell ourselves, because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We are trading ourselves 5 days a week, whatever hours we work, for money.
Right, and it's
a lot of time, very little money. Yeah.
Balance. It's not a balanced energy exchange for the amount of work and the amount of time that we put in and the amount of money that we need to pay towards other things. It's like that cost of living. It's not an even exchange for what it is that we're sacrificing of ourselves to earn that money.
Because we're always working in debt, the divide is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right.
And if you have a look at every country's in debt. It doesn't make any sense. Where is the money? Everywhere.
So while everything is out of whack right now, it just feels like your energy, like the divine masculine energy, is feeling like stuck in the middle too, because that system is crumbling, and it really is the old matrix patriarchal programming that's legs has been cut out from underneath of it. So that program that masculines have been plugged into, the distorted masculine energy that keeps feminines under wraps, and that imbalanced energetic exchange, kind of like the work that we put in versus how much money we make on the same level. It's like masculine energy, feminine energy, and it's being completely uprooted right now. That masculine role, going to work, leaving your house, going to work, earning the money, it is not happening anymore. And people are forced to stay home. And what energy is supporting this realm now? The feminines, the feminine, intuitive, nurturing, guiding, mothering energy that relies on the intuition and faith. And it's not just feminine energy either. It's sacred masculine energy. It's removing the distortion and but I have a feeling that masculine energy is having a really hard time just sitting still and like waiting for the structure to be rebuilt. Right?
Well, yeah, the hardest thing for a masculine is to sit still. Yeah.
But this is sacred masculine energy. This is where you guys step in and hold the space for the feminine to shine the way that she's meant to, in order for her to step in and infuse that sacred feminine goddess energy into this realm in order to restructure it, because that's what was missing. That's why it was so distorted, because the essence and the purity of that energy has long since been removed from that matrix program. And so the masculine is learning to sit in an energy of support and holding space. Support that system underneath that is being the structure of the feminine being stacked up on top of it is being held up by sacred masculine energy.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to support her and say, you've got this. You've got this now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So,
can you do that?
And that is, well, I have, and I've been doing that because what's going on now for the collective is almost a rerun of what happened to me just over 2 years ago, when everything come crumbling down in my life all at once, having to be staying at home. It's just like a replay of that, what happened to me. So that was a point of surrender for me, to lean into my intuition, my feminine energies, and trust. And that has led me to where I am now. So this.
Well, wait, that was the beginning of your awakening. That was when you first woke up.
Yeah.
And what was around you? Like, tell them about the energy that you woke up into. That conspiracy theory. Like, what was that? It was about the pole shift or something, right?
Yeah. So when I woke up, it was like straight away I bought into this conspiracy theory that there was a major world event that was going to happen, that was going to change the world, and that was an actual shift in the poles, but a sudden shift in the poles brought by a rogue planet X known as Nibiru, that was going to come into our atmosphere and pull the Earth off its axis, basically, and cause this, which was apparently attributed to other events on Earth, like the dinosaur extinction, the Great Flood, and this sort of thing. So so I started to look into that, but at the same time I was looking into a lot of conspiracies behind the Illuminati, things like this, a lot of underpinned corruption or alleged corruption and conspiracies behind society, really.
So all of a sudden you woke up, you opened your eyes, and you looked around you, and it was like, oh shit, something big is coming, and something big is going to happen.
Yeah, very much so.
So when you and I were talking about this the other day, and what I was getting from that is that's what this great awakening that people are talking about is coming. That's what people are waking up to. That's what especially masculines are waking up to, and they are looking around themselves with their legs cut out from underneath of them. Like, what do I do with all of this, and where do I go, and how do I support it, and how do I, like, I just want to say, as a man, how do I protect this realm? What do I need to do? And those are the people that we need to be surrounding with light and this awareness and this intuitive feminine energy that says, look at the truth of what you're waking up to. You're opening your eyes to very, very, very immense light and the ability to see clearly. And we need to shine and support them as they kind of navigate in this really scary arena, and not allow that fear energy that's infiltrating to take over and start this cycle again and recreate this program that started when, this whole cycle of evolution started back in the first place.
Yeah.
We're breaking that now, and we're creating a new earth. We're creating a new pattern, a new evolution now. We're not getting back into that same karmic cycle.
Yeah. We
have to do that by getting to the people who are waking up in this realm.
Yeah, to help them navigate it now, like you say.
Yeah.
Yes. So very much for me, it was it was this event, and this is probably an event. They're waking up, they're in this event, their work, everything's changed, everything they've known is up in the air. It's like,
pretty much on shutdown right now.
Yeah, literally. So what do I do? And it's that reassessment of your life, really. So what is important? Where have you been given your time? Who's important in your life? Your family. It brings you back. You're not worrying about work or thinking about crap, basically, or football, what your football team's doing. You're back here now and what's important. So it really centers you. And from that perspective, then you gain a sense of empowerment because you feel like you're of service. So you're wanting to protect your family, your nearest and dearest, your children, and you're looking for a way to embody that.
Yeah.
Very much. And for me, obviously, this event didn't happen, but from that point, it was a huge shift in my mental aspect. So it was like turning from a negative pole, seeing everything as dark, to everything being light and positive, because the way I saw it was everything was still here. You know, I used to complain I was a policeman. There would be my town was a lot of drug dealing and that sort of thing. I used to complain about it, and I got caught up in a lot of the negative stuff because I was police. But obviously, this event was all the world was all where I live was going to be flooded, and all these events. So it didn't happen. So I was actually grateful that even a street corner for the drug dealer to deal on. Do you know what I mean? And it just flipped. It literally completely flipped my mentality on the whole outside world at the same time.
It's almost like you're awakened into a future timeline. Like you were placed into the energy of a future timeline to experience the empathic experience that you needed to guide people now.
Yeah,
that's what they just showed me. Like you were, it's like you're a time traveler.
And yeah, it was like I was a walk-in anyway. That's the way I can describe it, because it wasn't a slow process. It was just like being switched on.
Right.
And I was just I was just channeling information non-stop, and profound information that was actually very scary. Some of the stuff you're getting, like, where the hell's this come from?
Right. Remember what we talked about the other day? What you said something about the movie The Matrix, and how that past life that we were talking about, the original one that started all of this for you and me, the program. Can you explain that? The program that we placed ourselves in order to experience, it's almost like building immunity, but to give ourselves the experience of it, so then we are able to like fly that Apache helicopter like she did.
So what they showed me is obviously we're and when we're in our human experience, we're very linear in our time. Okay, so we're everything we're judging is by the 80 years, 90 years we're alive, and that's it. That's how we see everything when we're born into this physical world, because of the veil and the amnesia that we suffer. Whereas spirit is almost like it's just like coming into the Matrix, but in like Neo. And each of these experiences we've had in past lives is like that plug where he's getting a download. It's literally that information. Like I want to learn Kung Fu. And we've learned all these skills. Obviously in the Matrix it showed really quickly, but for us it's through lifetimes. So we have been, all our lifetimes has been in preparation for this event now, for the ascension, to help other people. So we would have been put into experiences, or had certain experiences, so that we can gain a complete understanding. So we will have lived in it, karmic cycles, for a number of years. So we know every aspect, each side of everything, so we can break down that matrix.
We also possess the energetic signature of that.
Yeah, so it's like learning the code for it from every angle, so that we can destroy that timeline and get rid of it, because it's not needed.
It's almost like immunity to a virus, where you then are you possess certain aspects of the vibration of it in order to defeat it. You've been through the empathic, and that's what an empath is feeling the energy, resonating with it, understanding and feeling the vibration of whatever it is that we're battling, and we're able to defeat it, and we're able to like tune into it and shine the light on it in order to defeat it, because we've already been through it.
And then replace it with a newer template,
Right.
Much more healthy and more rounded template, which is what we're.
So that's what we're doing right now. That's what we're in the middle of right now, is creating that new template and not allowing ourselves to lean back into that program anymore, because we don't need it anymore.
But then that's the part, like I say, for me as a masculine, it's unsure. Am I supposed to be shining light on these templates that are not needed anymore, to help everybody see it, to help it break down quicker in the 3D realm, because we are here to be human. At the end of the day, we are here to be human.
Well, Neo, why don't you ask the Oracle now?
Yeah, that's it. Pull a card for us and let us know.
Why don't you lean into, so masculine, why don't you lean into the feminine energy and say, I don't know what to do right now. What am I supposed to be doing? And allow the sight to guide you. Allow the intuition to guide you. And this is not just for divine masculines. We have a lot more divine feminines tuning into stuff like this than divine masculines. It is the energy within the feminine, that divine masculine energy within you that I'm speaking to, saying, lean into your own intuition, build your own intuition, become the oracle that you need, the sight that you need to be able to give you the guidance. It's time to build your skills as a light worker and as, you know, an intuitive divine being that is capable of lighting this path right now, because it's what we've been training for. It's what we've been building up to. So when you feel fear, you feel whatever it is that makes you feel unstable and unsafe, that's the masculine within you that's saying, I don't know what to do right now. What am I supposed to do? Your intuitive side, your feminine side, is telling you you're doing it right now. The healing that you're doing is sharing
yourself.
Sharing yourself.
Sharing yourself.
Right. But in order,
just sharing what we know with one another to help.
But in order to share yourself, you have to make yourself a priority.
Mm-hmm.
You have to focus on and really understand the importance of all the healing that you've been doing within yourself and your shadow work and this whole journey, all the work that you've done on yourself. This journey has been leading to you. Leaning into that, understanding the importance of that, really knowing your role in that and how important it is that we need you, the feminine. It's like leaning on your mother again. Like, I need my mother to tell me what to do. Mom, what do I do? But the feminine energy has been so distorted for so long. She's meant to rely on the guidance of the masculine, this patriarchy. I don't know. Let's ask Dad. Dad, what are we supposed to do?
And that's how it's been for the masculine's almost not trusted the feminine because of the distortion in there as well. So it's almost like from everything.
Well, she hasn't trusted herself either.
So every choice that has been being made is from just mind and logic rather than intuition, feeling. Because that's the new world we're stepping into, is trusting you'll put your emotional guidance system and
because that old structure, that old template could not be guided by intuition and emotion. That's ludicrous. That's not logical. That's not grounded. That is not science-based. It's spiritual, and you can't guide a structure, institution by emotion and feminine energy.
My institution or my world has been built around that in the last 2 years, and I'm almost impervious to what's going on at the moment because I've just followed what Spirit's told me, and I have a structure where none of this has made any effect at all on my life. So that's that trust. That's that being to trust and being guided and following it regardless.
Right. And I think one of the roles of the divine masculine right now is just sitting back and holding space so that the feminine does not need to doubt herself anymore. Really, like, leaning into the faith in her. Like, that's one of the things that's brought me back into my space and into me again, is your faith in me. That I had a block in seeing. I could not fully see myself because of that programming over many, many lifetimes. I wasn't allowed to. I was meant to not be able to see the fullness of my light and who I am as a divine being, and that the essence of source within me and my role in that, my importance in the power of that. It's because you kept telling me.
I did.
Fucking epic.
Sorry. Always did, even if you didn't.
But I had to get to a space where there was enough released that and the way that I found it was through my sight and through my intuition and my feeling and my empathic abilities, and feeling the energy of some sort of darkness sitting here whispering shit in my ear that was causing the doubt. And that thing in my ear sounded like my own voice. It's genius programming. Which I think is a story for another video, but I worked on it yesterday. It's been building, and I feel like I've released it. I know that I've released it, and it's time to fucking move forward now. It's time to, like, really, really step into this role and start guiding people. And I'm talking directly to the divine feminines. Like, it's time to, like, this fire has been lit in my belly, and I just want to, like, push forward and be like, all right, now let's go. Now. I don't feel dragged down anymore. I know what I need to do, and I know that I don't see everything that I need to do. I'm just ready to go. Like, let's go, and let's just, like, get in the car.
We'll deal with whatever comes up on the.
We're just gonna be guided to it. I know that. I have faith in that, and I have faith in myself enough to, like, see it all, and just as I go, I'm going to be shown. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like this video. We're just like, let's just talk. And let's just do it.
That's exactly about just being present in the now. If you're still and you're in the now, whatever comes up, you can deal with from a cool, calm place. So it's not worrying about the future and not letting go of the past. If we keep focusing on the past, it brings up depression because there's a lot of bad shit that happened in the past. And if we worry too much about the future, it gives us anxiety.
Right.
We just focus on now. We can deal with anything that comes our way then.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that is cutting the cords and attachments constantly, like we mentioned in one of the last videos too, because there is importance in seeing the past, seeing how it relates, seeing that there's an energy in the subconscious that's there, that's been there for a while. Now that you've evolved to a certain point and made space to recognize that energy, it's time to see it and now release it completely. So then that program isn't running anymore. You have to rely on your intuition and your inner knowing, though, in order to recognize that that is an energy that's there that shouldn't be there, that now needs to be cleared. Not attaching to it and continuing to run that program for the rest of your life. Not giving it power, not attaching to it anymore. Cutting those cords, cutting those attachments.
That could be done by actually physically sorting out your Akashic records yourself and just taking all the positives and what you've learned from it, but letting go of all the storylines and the narratives. You're just taking the lessons at the end of the day, and you can cut through them and destroy it. So you only have what you need to know from it, and you can leave that past behind.
So when we talk about cutting cords and cutting karmic attachments and bonds and trauma bonds and like, what do you do to do that?
What do I do?
Cut those cords, yeah. Because some people right now are like, how do I do that though? What do you mean? How do I do that?
From the beginning, I've worked with Archangel Michael, and he showed me, and this is something I did from as soon as I woke up. They told me straight away to sort out my Akashic records. I didn't know what Akashic records were, but it was like, we don't need any negative stuff from it. So, and it showed me it like, I don't know if anyone's seen the film, is it Evan Almighty or something like that? There's this filing cabinet that he has.
Oh, yeah.
all his past lives, and that's what they're showing me. Is like that, a classic record like that. And it's literally like a drawer like that with all this, and Archangel Michael just would cut through everything that's not needed. So it's like filing the negative sides and the bad energies, getting rid of all of that with Archangel Michael's sword, cutting like paperwork. That's all it is. It's files, but a lot of it's not needed. It's like miscellaneous papers. Okay, what did you learn in that lifetime? That lifetime, I learned a lesson about betrayal or whatever it was. You know what I mean? Or trust, or whatever your lesson was, or it may be a skill set or knowledge that you gained that you want to bring into this lifetime. So there'll be a purpose for all of these lives. It'll be different sides of lessons and things like that.
And sometimes that energy plays out as an interaction with someone that day where it made you feel the energy of being betrayed for some reason. The interaction with them in that way, that's brought up that subconscious energy that you're talking about from that filing cabinet, is there for a reason. It's been there to teach you a lesson. But when it comes into your awareness as, okay, this is a pattern, this is an interaction with this person that made me feel denser and lower vibration, I need to cut cords with that. I need to cut off that energetic connection, because I don't need that to keep feeding me. I'm aware enough that I don't need it to keep feeding me, and I need to cut that in order to come back into my essence again on a daily basis. We have these things connecting us on a daily basis that need to continuously be cut.
To remove these sort of things, like I said, there's always lessons in past lives and certain things we need to know. So we can't cut away everything, because that'll be prominent lessons or prominent patterns that we'll need to see to help us understand our life now. Because we bring in, if we have unhealed karma and unhealed contracts and pain, we bring it in our next incarnation for us to heal it. So there may be a cycle from your past life where maybe you abuse somebody. So this life you're coming and you're being abused, or I'm just using that as an example. So you're on the other side of the coin to see the other perspective of it, because then from both sides you can have a balanced view and help to get rid of that template in the world, if that makes sense. So but you will then have certain energies around certain people that will remind you of that when you were abused, and these sort of things. So you'll with Atlantean healing, we can heal that energy you've brought in with you from that lifetime. So actually heal your past life energy and take that away, and then we can obviously cut away your contracts and clear it from your Akashic records, so that it doesn't exist anymore. Right. Which in turn then just frees up a lot more space in you for more light and your ascension, basically.
I love watching you get into a channel. All right, so what was the question? What does the masculine need to, what should he be doing right now? All right, this is Wisdom of the Oracle. Do you have this deck? You don't have this one, right?
No, not that one.
Wisdom of the Oracle. So we're going to ask her, what does she say? So right now, the way that I feel it, when I just said, what does she say? It almost immediately is tuning into the goddess energy. There is the goddess aspect, polarity of source energy that is stepping up to say, okay, let me tell you what it is that we need to be doing right now. Her wisdom is so important. Isis and Lilith have both been here with me all morning, just like over each one of them, over my shoulder, just this mothering, really empowered feminine energy, but also the Lilith energy is that's the fire in my belly. That's the, like, it's time to get moving. It's drawing off of empowered, angry energy, healthy expression of angry energy. I am angry that
it's fuel. It's a fuel.
Depression has been going on for so long. Yes, using it as fuel, because we're removing the trauma template from it, those cores and attachments and codependency and that need to prove ourselves and dim our light.
And because obviously the work I've been doing, you've been doing with the healing is taking away that fear of the system. It's just, so as you move out of that and the persecution, you're able to speak your truth, whatever that be. And we're all entitled to that freedom of speech and to be as we are.
Right. So being heard was one of the struggles before, and the resistance against allowing us to be heard, those energies that would try to block us and dim our light, switched us into trauma energy and said, no, I'm going to be fucking heard one way or the other if I have to beat it into you, because that's my right. That's that outrage, the rage, the trauma rage coming up from underneath. And it's not going to get us anywhere. That's not the new template. That's the old oppressed, distorted feminine, trauma feminine energy. But there are so many, the healing that everyone is doing in that area to remove those is filtering out and has released and has really opened up the heart chakra of the earth, really, is what they say.
Like I say, we are on lockdown now. I've been going out just to exercise, and I've got 2 young boys who I've been going out with as well, and you can feel it. Although what's going on, everything's just so calm and peaceful, and the men are relaxed and they're with their partners, and everyone's just, there's no rush. Right. We've been in this world where everybody's just been running around like headless chickens, chasing coin. And that's the system that we've been living in. And now out there, it's just peace. It's like bliss. You're just wandering around. People are just floating around. They haven't got, they're not slave to the machine. So they've been unplugged from the matrix by what's happened. And that is the gift that we're being given by this virus. Although it's, very bad, and certain people are going to lose their lives because of this, but it's all been agreed, and that's what we've got to remember. It's people knew this. There's certain people, and it's affecting the elderly who are at the end of their life, and they're probably going to be the ones who are going to struggle most to deal with these ascension energies anyway, because they're so ingrained in denser energies than we are. Because they're
carrying the outdated system. So the outdated template, and they're taking it with them.
Exactly. And then when they come in again, when they reincarnate again with a lot more higher energy or awakened people, they're not going to have the same disconnect, because people are going to be, this is going to be mainstream teaching. This is going to take over from like normal schools. It's going to be a foundation. So children are not going to be disconnected. We're not going to be teaching our children that God is outside them and they have to be slave to this money machine, because that is not the truth.
Right.
So their wisdom, and people are going to be, they're going to, because children, I believe, are a lot more awake and a lot more in flow when they're born anyway, because they're in that pure state, and it's the system there we put them through that almost takes them away from their divinity. And teaches them that everything's hard, life is hard, things are tough, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, which is not the case. So when they come in this time, they're not going to have that same veil of illusion, and we're not, as we come in and reincarnate again, that's going to get smaller and smaller, so the disconnect isn't going to be there.
Right. There was something that I was getting to when you were talking about when you first woke up and waking up, that the energies of people waking up into this chaotic kind of restructuring period, and the shift in perspective that we offer is that we are not, even though we're on lockdown, we are quarantined. Those are the words that the 3D structure has placed on our realm right now. But I don't look at it that way. That the shift in perspective that we offer is that I'm not locked down. I get to have this time where I have myself and my children as a priority, where I get to be removed from the daily struggle of answering to the man and needing to earn this and needing to pay for this. And I haven't spent money. Bro, I can't even go anywhere. It's a gift. Being able to spend more time with my kids and to experience this monumental thing, and to focus on my own energy is a gift and not imprisonment. I am not in prison. I'm still going to go outside and I'm going to connect with nature the way that I'm meant to, and they can never take that away from me. It's I will never be imprisoned again. I shift it by saying, all right, bring it. I love this. Thank you.
Yeah. And part of that as well is we're taking our children out of that machine, because our education has become a machine feeding people into the corporate rat race. That's what we're training our children. No, you can't have fun. You're not there to have fun. You've got to learn this. You've got to learn that, because you have to go. And this is from young. You've got to go out into the world and you've got to earn X, Y, and Z. Otherwise, you're nothing. You don't mean anything unless you go to university and you get this really good job and you have a house. And that's what we're being sold. That's the machine mechanism we're being sold. And I've been there and I've done that and I've got to that point, and it's like, well, what now? Right. That's what you're told, that you get, and I was fucking miserable.
Go back to school, spend more money, get another degree in order to be able to earn more money, because that's the program. That's the way that it festers. Exactly. We're removing our children from that school structure that's programming that into them. Mm-hmm. We've been forced to remove our kids from that structure. Thank you. Yes, thank you for that.
And allow them to be kids. And we get to be kids with our kids, because we've lost that as well. When this system takes away your childlike wonder in the world.
As long as we shift our perspective, and as long as we look at it as that gift, and we allow that to be the priority over fear, and fear of the unknown, fear of how I'm going to pay my bills, fear of how this whole thing is going to work out, fear of how long I have to be stuck in my house or whatever it is. That overwhelming, I don't know what to do, I can't do anything about it, so I'm going to let it rule me, is completely futile, but it's taking over so many people. The more that we lean into the perspective of, I don't know what's going to happen next. Isn't that beautiful? I just have faith. I have so much faith that something beautiful is going to come out of this. Let's create that. Let's create that reality together. Watch how I manifest things. You're sitting around doing nothing anyway. You got nothing to do. Look at how I read cards. You want to start learning how to read cards? It's fun. Even if you want to pretend like it's just it's a habit or it's a hobby, and you got nothing else to do, let me teach you.
I picked a card that leads exactly into that.
Yeah, great.
This is the Starseed Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell. Beautiful cards. It's what we need to do now is feminine energy. It's water your garden, and it's nourishment, body care, tenderness, and rest. So it's literally embracing this time of rest that we've been given, that we've been gifted. Just lean into it, look after yourself, love yourself, and just get into flow, get back into that flow of you, rather than what the outside world tells you have to do. It's bringing you home, that home energy.
Yeah. Yes. So I was talking to somebody right before this too, and we were talking about water and how water is connected to emotions, obviously, and feminine energy, and like more importantly, mothering energy, mothering yourself, treating yourself as that divine mother that is meant to show you the way and guide you through emotions, and letting the water work through you in a broader scope of that. You are essentially earth energy as well. So the earth is being replenished now at the same time. Her body is being taken care of. She's being replenished. She is nurturing herself, because the damage that has been done to her up until now has gotten to a point where it's like, okay, you need to stop not making yourself a priority. You need to be made a priority, because you can't support everyone else unless you take care of yourself. And the energy of water is carrying that. If you think about the way that it flows, your body is made up of more water than it is blood. you're the same energy as water, and the way that it flows, we can't live without it on the earth. It feeds everything. It carries energy too. It carries emotion and it carries energy. And it flows through the earth and it feeds the earth from here, but then it also evaporates and goes up into the sky and travels and feeds and waters and cleanses other areas. And it's that cycle of water life that we are embodying also. We need to be taking this time to ourselves to be able to feed and cleanse ourselves. We need to be cleansing ourselves more often and focusing on the energy of that. Balancing out the energy of water in our chart is big. That's one of the things that they've been telling me too, is if you're watching readings on YouTube and you always watch, like I'm an air sign, so I would always watch air sign readings. I have an overabundance of air in my chart. I have a lot of air in my chart. That's not what I need to be balancing. Right now, most people are needing to balance the water in their chart. So watch water readings, watch water sign readings. It's not water signs anyway, it's just the element of water. Start watching those. The information in there is what you need to be programming your body to resonate with, to balance out that in your energetic system. That's one of the most important things right now is elemental balance. So back to what does the divine masculine need to be focusing on? And it's just really, it's almost a little bit funny the way the cards come out, because it's like we've been talking about all of this anyway, what she was going to say. And when I was talking about getting in the car and just going and allowing yourself to be led, we don't need to have a plan right now, masculine. We don't need to have a plan. The plan is we're going to get in the car and they're going to guide us. Our intuition is going to guide us. Our feminine energy is going to guide us. We're going to lean into our connection and our sensitivity to energy to know which way to go. Just today, just this hour, just in this now moment, I'm going to say, this is what I'm feeling and this is what we need to do. Okay, ready? Let's go. Let's do it. Let's not doubt it. Let's just go and do it. If that ends up being a wrong turn, there's still no doubt in it. We just allow ourselves to be led because there is no wrong turn. The way that we went was meant to take us that way. So what does the masculine need to do? It's really about that, the energy of that, allowing the fates to decide. Leaning into, you're at this fork in the road right now. Which way do I go? Close your eyes. Stop looking at the signs. You're not going to be able to figure it out by those signs. We don't know which way to go, which is the way to go. Sitting still and questioning and allowing yourself to be guided by an energy outside of us, not in our mind, but by our spirit. Which way do we go now? What do I do now? And listening for the answer, being still and closing your eyes and listening to the answer as the universe guides it and moves you. You are moving as you're sitting still. That is movement forward. That's progress. That's especially progress for the masculine, to be able to sit still and trust in the goddess energy. It really is a lot about goddess energy. Look at how feminine that picture is and how her eyes are completely covered. She's just feeling the light on her face and letting it shine on her inner eye to be guided by the light. It's like, let the light guide you. See that light in the back? It's not on those signs right there. You're looking at the wrong thing. You're looking at the signs. You're looking at which way to go, which arrow, which way it makes the most sense. Nothing is logical right now. It's really all about that light energy. Following the light. And where does that light come from? Where does that light come from, babe?
Where does that light come from? It comes from source. It comes from your inner, your higher self. It comes from you. It's your inner light as such. So yeah, it's the true essence of you. And moving into that is about big part about letting go of fear, like I say. So
yeah, it comes from the feminine beacon too. Mm-hmm. comes from that third eye, comes from the feminine intuition and beacon, and that's within all of the masculines. They have that in them. So, you know, it's not like I'm saying, hey, dude, you need to sit back and let the women get to work now. It's within them too. So they need to be leaning more into their intuition and their gut and what it is that, like, making sense of the stories that they're reading online and like putting the pieces together and just compiling the information, compiling the intuitive information, trusting that it's all going to come together into a bigger picture, and not needing to be the one who like makes it all fit and so that I can do something about it. Sometimes that means compiling groups of people too, so that we can take the information that they're getting and take the information that they're getting and creating this structure, this, like, all I see is just like a group of people, a circle of people coming together to exchange information, so that as soon as we do, something in their information ignites something in ours, and we're able to move forward to like, okay, now what I'm getting is we need to be doing this. And then we go and we do that. And then it opens up another door, and it opens up another turn on our drive, our scavenger hunt that we're on right now. It's all unprecedented. It's all new. They're all new roads. This is a whole new map that we're going on. And it's almost like we're map makers. They're showing me map makers sitting around.
It's like using our internal GPS rather than a physical GPS anymore to get around the world. So it's all energy. It's feeling the energy of what it is, and intuition, being led that way. It's trusting that what's supposed to come to you will be there. There's no accidents, there's no mistakes, so you can't actually go wrong, and that's that faith.
Yeah. Trusting your feminine. Trusting your feminine. Do you trust your feminine?
I do trust my feminine.
Do you trust your feminine?
I do trust my feminine.
Yeah. So, you know, it's hard to not feel like kind of lost and floating around in outer space right now, but that's essentially where we are. We're just like floating around waiting for the structure of that map to be created. So yeah, creating that road now. Which way do we go? The way that we're going isn't even on here. It's a new arrow that we're putting down here, and it's actually like facing out at the person looking at the card. That's which way we're going.
Let's go straight up.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
same thing.
We're going straight up.
And this,
but that's it. We're not walking on. Yeah, so it's like I say, we're ascending. So it's we're going up now. We have up and down as well on our compass, which we didn't have before.
Yeah, holding space. The masculine holding space is really important. Just that knowing, that stability. It doesn't matter which way we go, but I got this. It's like he's the car. Yeah. Should I pull more, or is that good? Let's see what's on the bottom. Regeneration.
It's
the number 10 card too. So it's all about that cycle that I was talking about, this cycle completing. And it's an earth cycle, it's an age cycle. It's really a new earth, and it's being built. It's almost like this is the fire that's in my belly, and that's what's building this new structure, this new growth. It just takes a little bit for it to blossom and to grow. People, most feminines are here right now. They're building the structure, and they're learning that the fire within them is the foundation for everything. That drive, that creativity, that anger that they've been feeling, it's bubbling.
Everything, yeah. It's all in one.
To build it.
Yeah, exactly. Like rocket fuel. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that the masculines are feeling a lot of that too. They're feeling the, it's like a kind of outrage energy, like you were talking about, like being frustrated that this has been going on for so long. It's been let happen, And the feelings that it stirs up surrounding that is feminine energy. That is feminine anger, and anger about the feminine having been suppressed in that way. And
for me, it's been, like I say, I've been concentrating on looking after myself. I've been training in the gym and things like that. And when I'm physically doing it, when I'm in my masculine energy, it's like this almost.
You're building your structure. You're using that fire.
It's fire, but it's like like a real empowered, like almost a uncontrollable charge of energy. Like like I feel like the Hulk. That's sort of just like I could just train and not tired. It's almost building, and the energy is building. I'm not getting more tired. I'm getting more empowered. As I'm doing it, like I say. But a lot of that is powered. But at the same time, I'm having a lot of thoughts about the past and the stuff that's been going on the earth that hasn't been right for a long time. So that's the fuel. That's the fuel. That's firing.
Yeah, you're like physically transmuting it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the energy. That's what they just told me. The energy, that fire, that Hulk energy. That's something that you're actually doing. So you're like, what can I be doing? You're actually with feminine energy, because you're tapping into the empathic energy that you're feeling in your body and transmuting it. You're transmuting it into and changing the structure of it into muscle and strength and stability and expression of it, because you're getting it out too. You're transmuting that for the collective and helping to feed this foundation that's being created. It's coming from fire. It's coming from fire. It's coming from drive. There's like a surge of Kundalini fire energy, like surging through so many of us, especially the masculine.
Then that's what it can come out in distorted ways. Otherwise, that's what it's showing. So that's a healthy way to let it burn through your system. Whereas if it's not, it will could become a build-up of aggressive energy, that may more explosive energy or things like that. It's not dealt with properly.
That's why energy maintenance is so important right now, more so than ever before. The energies that we feel are amplified by thousands, more than it was before. So if we're feeling the energy of anger, we have to make sure that we are managing our energy and transmuting it, and really looking at how much of that is ours, how much of it comes from past lives, how much of it comes from the collective, and what do I do with that energy? What do I do with it? I get into a habit of meditation on a daily basis, constantly cutting cords and attachments, and a lot of that energy that you're feeling, that overwhelm of that energy, could be feeding from those cords we were talking about, and those connections to people who are perpetuating that subconscious pattern that you've been running. You don't need to run those anymore. Let's cut the cords from that. I don't want to feel an overabundance of that energy and have to transmute it and figure it out. Even if I don't know where those cords are coming from, I'm just on a daily basis constantly cutting them. And what is no longer of service to me, and it is not of a higher vibrational timeline that I choose to step on every single day. Water, drinking lots of water, grounding, being outside, connecting with nature, absorbing the sun. It's no coincidence that this lockdown, this opportunity, let's not call it a lockdown anymore. Let's call it
free break.
A spring break or a free break?
Yeah, it's like what? Spring is the start of spring.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's no coincidence that it's happening in spring.
Exactly, which is a rebirth energy anyway, and everything comes back to life. It's a regeneration.
Yeah, exactly. It's that. It also gives us the opportunity to go out and connect as much as we possibly can. We're just coming out of winter, and I had a really hard time this winter not being able to get outside and to ground myself and connect with nature as much as I would want to and as much as I need to. We are able to do that more so now on a daily basis than we would be in the old structure. It's no coincidence that we get to enjoy the spring weather for way more hours than I normally would have been able to. We have to do that more. Salt baths, sound baths, connection and disconnecting from technology and from an overabundant electronical, they're telling electronical, I don't know if that's a word, but electronic energy and programming that we're connecting in with. We have to disconnect from the internet a lot more, or what it is we're focusing on.
That's something they've been telling me as well. It's almost like the greatest addiction that man has now is to technology, and when we lean into that too much, we can lose our emotional guidance system. So we're looking outside all the time for the signs, whereas we're not leaning into our own feelings to
it's programming.
Takes away. Yeah, it is
programming. If you look at it,
not that spirit won't help you through technology and things like that, but it's not always the best way, because.
But there are moments where you're lost in it. There's moments where you're using it as an escape to escape your reality.
When you're looking at reading after reading after reading, you're just getting swamped in information. That's when you're like, well, this is getting me nowhere. Now I'm going to go outside and sit in the fucking garden on the grass, and I'm going to just ground and close my eyes, and I'm going to just ground myself. That's when you need to get away from it. When you're being sucked in, and you are, like I say, and you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, endlessly, and that's what we all do, and that's what we have almost taught ourselves to fill the void in our old life, where we were slave to the machines. It's just like, well, I've got 10 minutes to myself. I just look at my phone, and because I'm tired out, because I just give myself away all the time.
Right.
But we're not that anymore.
Right. We're being rewired and deprogrammed from that. But that was part of my reading that I did today that I'm getting ready to post. It's probably up right now, actually.
Okay.
But it said something about we were so much in the programming of technology anyway, in order to escape our reality, in order to disconnect from our reality and from people around us, from the energy of real human connection. We were so in, like, if you walk down the street and they're just on their phone. They're on their phone. They're not in their reality. They're not even there, standing there. Their brains are in another realm in order to escape this reality.
It's another matrix. So it's another matrix. It's a matrix within a matrix is what they're showing me.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And it causes a disconnect from it disconnects people, that human connection, that loving human to human connection. And right now what it looks like to me and what they're showing me is like a kid that was caught smoking, and the parents bring them in and they sit them down and they're like, okay, you have to smoke this entire pack of cigarettes so that by the end of it, you are sick and you never want another fucking cigarette in your life. We're in our homes right now, and sometimes we're so lost in which way to go and what to do, and we're so used to being told you need to go to work, this is your schedule, you need to be up by 5 o'clock, you need to be up by 7 o'clock. Getting to choose how we spend our time, we're kind of lost in how to
don't know who we are.
Facilitate that. We're escaping into so much technology. It's like, okay, I don't know just go watch TV for a little while. I don't know what to do. We're getting lost in it.
Yeah, most people are that lost in that slave to the machine mentality. They don't actually know who they are. What if I didn't have to go to work? What would I actually like to do? What do I like? What did I used to like when I was a child? You're so distant from who you actually are because you are slave to the machine and you're just paying the bills that you don't even remember who you are. You don't. I used to like drawing and doing art, or I used to like singing or dancing, but you just don't have time because you're just working all the time.
Right.
Children. So yeah, you get a real chance to come back to you. Right. What I'm saying is that coming home.
Yeah. And I feel like it's almost like we've been put like, okay, go to your room and watch as many hours on YouTube, scroll on your phone, look through so much Facebook that you just can't even stand to look at it anymore. And then what you're going to do is go outside and see people, and you're going to smile at them and you're going to wave to them because you crave the connection to humanity again and to other people. That's what's happened with me, honestly. It's like I'm just craving human to human, really personal connection that I was missing before, that I was escaping from before, because my energy was overwhelmed with just this overload of distorted human connection. That's what it was. It was all distorted. It's purifying that and making me want it.
It's what Spirit showed me was making everybody face their addictions at the moment. Which, whether that be emotional eating, whether that be I got a teenage son who's like Xbox, the gaming, and he's sick of it. He's already sick of playing music because he's just an overload of it. He doesn't want to do it. They want to be out. So it's making us realise where we're giving our energy away, and that was okay when we were slave to this machine because we just wanted to be mindless. But when we're actually got our energy to ourselves, it's not what we want to be doing, and we actually do crave other people.
And for me, it's animals too.
Oh yeah.
People have been walking their dogs, and I went for a hike with my girls the other day, and every dog that came by on the path, I was like, oh gosh, I don't need to be 6 feet away from you, do I? I know some people say that, but like I really craved this kind of just pure, energetic, they're happy to see me, they just want me to touch them. And I didn't realize how much I missed that. And I have my cats here, and it's just a different kind of energy. And like my kids were so happy to be outside and out in nature. They said so many times, I love nature so much, Mom. I'm so happy right now. I can't remember the last time they just, like, I could feel the pure energy of that, and how they were completely present, completely in that moment, and grateful for that moment. And it was all surrounding the gift of nature. It's like they were given a gift. It was so amazing. It makes me teary a little bit. I can hear kids playing outside right now, and it's just like getting back into that energy again and being stripped of the need to escape. I've escaped so much into all of the technology that I don't even fucking want it anymore. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. I mean, and it's a fabulous tool, especially for this, what we do, but it's seeing it just as a tool. It's not an escape. What are we escaping from? We don't need to escape. Right. We're creating the lives we want, so there's no need of this escape.
Right, right. It's really narrowing down.
Mm-hmm. And we're trained, like you say, it's like in the 3D system, we're trained that's what you do. So it's really hard work. Life is really hard, and so when you do save some money, you go on holiday to escape, because I want a life where I don't need to escape. I don't want to escape my life. It's that fucking good. I don't want to go on holiday. Why would I want to leave? It's great. That's the sort of life.
That's the only reason you need to, is to come over here. Bing.
That's it. Yeah.
So it's going to be more on that. That's the energy for Grant Me. Does that answer your question? Did that answer your question about what you need to be doing? What should you do? What can you do?
More of what I have been doing, really.
We're doing it, exactly. You're holding the space. You're creating the foundation and holding the space. And when we first got on here, I was telling you all the things that I had coming in today about what my guidance is for us to be doing next.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to do anything right now except like wait for that, and then we move in that direction, and we say, okay, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be creating this healing circle. This is what we need to do. Okay, now we have direction. We're going to go and do that, and then with guidance again after that. She's going to tell you what it is.
Okay. I can live with that.
All right, well, I hope that was helpful, whoever's watching right now. If you guys want to book a personal session, Lloyd's sessions are all the information is in the box below. All of his sessions are by donation only. I feel like I'm guided to do the same thing too. I haven't changed the structure on my website, but I feel like my guidance is to do the same thing. It's all by donation. So you decide what the worth is for you. You decide what you're able to afford and what it means to you. Your energetic expression of that gratitude is completely up to you. So yeah, all the information's in the box below, and I'll talk to you soon. Anything else?
Thank you. No, that's it for me.
Okay.